Hi there, my name is Jean Robin. I'm a French publisher and journalist, and I'm making this video to draw the attention of my English-speaking fellows to a book that I've published in French and that I would like to translate, to be translated into English, so that the English-speaking people around the world could read it, of course, and be interested in my thesis, which is very important to me and to the world, I think, and that's why I would like it to be translated. It says 50 proofs that God exists and that it's the God of the Bible. So here I'm specifically speaking to my Christian English-speaking friends, of course, but also to the atheists or the Catholics or Muslims or anybody that would like to challenge my thesis, which is, again, 50 at least. I've found some more since the publishing of my book a few weeks ago, but at least 50 proofs, 50 facts prove that God exists, and it's the God of the Bible. So when I published this book, I launched a challenge to my atheist friends. You know, the Christopher Hitchens-like and Richard Dawkins-like. I told them, well, show me, prove me rationally, without appealing to God, that those 50 facts are explainable in your worldview, not in mine, in your worldview, since I'm a Christian, right? So, without appealing to God, you need to explain why the Bible is the most read, translated, and influential book in the whole world. You need to explain to me why Jesus, who was a poor guy living in nowhere and died at 33, became the most influential person on earth, to the point that even the atheists live in 2017 AD, after Christ. In French we say after Christ. Show me, last but not least, that the best fruits of nations on the planet come from Protestants or Lutherans countries such as Scandinavia, what we call Scandinavia, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Denmark. Okay? Prove me that all of these facts, and I also talk about Israel because Jewish people have the highest IQ, and they have the most the most doctors per square meters in Israel, and they have the most museums per person in Israel as well, and lots of other data that I reference in my book. Show me that all these facts are explainable, since they're all apart from the rest of the planet, okay, the rest of the creeds, being atheists, Catholics, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, whatever you want. Those facts make the Protestants a people apart, and the Israelis, because they're the chosen people, right? They make those people apart from the rest on the whole planet. So I'm not talking about lots of people, Scandinavia is roughly 22 million people. Israel is 6 million. And Scandinavia is composed of little countries. So just explain to me how those little countries, which are really... it's not easy to live in those countries since it's very cold in Scandinavia. And in Israel, it's desert, basically. And it's surrounded by enemies, if you've forgotten that. So how come those people bear the best fruits in the whole planet? Not appealing to the God of the Bible, since those Scandinavian countries have been Lutheran for 500 years, almost 100%, with no external influence, so that we can judge really what's their fruit. And so my challenge to the atheist is twofold. First thing, well, I just said, show me that these facts can be explained without an appeal to God. Because here there's a clear trend. There's more than a trend. There's a meaning, there's a sense, there's an obvious sense. You know? Explain it to me in your worldview. How can you explain this without appealing to God? So is it, coincidence? Is it by chance? If you're an atheist, you really believe in chance and coincidence. So is that coincidence? Because those 50 facts add up, They just want, not just the Bible is the most read or translated book on earth, by far. But you have 49 other proofs, minimum. I can find others. So one proof backs the other. So when you have 50, you have a set of proofs that aim toward the same thing, which is the God of the Bible. Now, you don't believe in it. Explain to me why. Explain to me how can these facts be, okay? Because if you're an atheist and you believe in coincidence and just random, well, it can't be. So how are you going to explain this? First challenge. Second challenge, try to prove that my thesis is wrong. And my thesis is that Protestantism, Calvinism, Lutheranism, Presbyterianism, altogether, is right and all the rest is wrong. Be it atheism, Islam, Buddhism, Catholicism, whatever you want, okay? And I'm gonna back this thesis with proofs. So you can, whether you're an atheist or a Catholic or a Muslim, whether you believe in God or not, you can disprove me by facts if you wish to. So give it a try. Now, my thesis is backed up with facts that I'm going to give you now. I'm going to give you the example with atheism, but it works for Catholicism, Islam, Buddhism, whatever you want. But I'm going to give it, I'm going to show it to you with atheism. That atheism is scientifically wrong. Okay? Here we go. Now, for atheism to be true, that's the first hypothesis, we would have to have countries around the world which are better the more atheist they are. Correct? Right. If atheism is true, the most atheistic countries should be the best countries on earth, right? In terms of human rights, in terms of equality between men and women, in terms of liberties, in terms of education, in terms of ecology, and on and on and on. All right? Now, and the more atheist a country is, the more the trend is going to be towards this goal, right? Now, let's look at the facts. Let's look at the reality. Okay, which are the most atheistic countries in the world? Well, easy. Communist countries, okay? Now, what about these countries? What do they have in common? Well, gulags, lack of liberty, dictatorship, one party only, poverty, no education, etc., etc. Okay? So that's what we get with atheism when a whole country has to be atheist and the one government is atheistic. Now, that's the pure model. That's communism. Now, if you go in history, we have the USSR and all these satellites. Today we have China, which is close to that, but it's less communist than USSR used to be. But now, the hypothesis is that the more atheist a country is, the better it is, right? Now, what I see, what everybody can see, is that the more atheist a country is, the less liberties you have, the less education you have, the less men and women equality you have, right? Let's take China. It's a bit below USSR, but still it's very close to a dictatorship, and I think it is. You have the death penalty there going on for ages. You have lack of education, etc., etc., etc. So it doesn't work. Atheism doesn't work, because even today, if you have the purest atheist model, it's North Korea, and it's a dictatorship, right? With no education, no equal rights for women, no nothing. So it seems this hypothesis doesn't work. Atheism is true. But you can take, again, Islam. Same thing. The more Islamic a country, the less liberty, the less education, the less wealth. Well, as in the USSR or China, a very tiny portion of the population is very, very wealthy, like a million times more than 80% of the people who are dead poor. Even though you can find lots of wealth, natural resources in these countries, such as Saudi Arabia, for example. So it doesn't work for Islam. Islam is not true then. What about Catholicism? Well, the more Catholic a country is, the more a dictatorship it is, through history. Have a look. Mussolini was Catholic. Hitler was Catholic. Franco was Catholic. Only in the 20th century, you can list up to 20 dictators who were Catholics. Now, today, if we take Venezuela, for example, it's less Catholic than, let's say, the Vatican, but it's still a dictatorship, and it's mixed with socialism. But there is a famine, even though they have the third largest source of oil in the world. So Catholicism doesn't work, atheism doesn't work, and Islam doesn't work. And you could go on with Buddhism, and because all these countries, the more Catholic or atheist or Islamic they are, the worse they are. Now, take a second hypothesis, which is mine. The more Protestant a country is, the better it is. Now let's see. Let's see if that's true according to the facts. Not even talking about the God of the Bible, not appealing to it for the moment, okay? I don't have to, because the facts, you should judge them by their fruit, okay? This is something Jesus said, but even the atheists today say that. Most of the time not knowing that it was Jesus who said it first. You know, just like we're in 2017 after Jesus died. Now, the more Protestant a country is, the better it is. Which are the most Protestant countries in the world? Well, easy, Scandinavia. They've been Lutheran up to almost 100% for almost 500 years, since the time of the Reformation. Okay? So now we have pure fruits. Saudi Arabia is a pure fruit of Islam. The Vatican is a pure fruit of Catholicism, or you could say France's 1,500 years, when it was mostly a dictatorship with divine royalty, who are imposing all kinds of things in the population, the Inquisition, the Crusades, and all. Most of Europe, for 1,000 years, were a pure fruit of Catholicism, and they destroyed the Jews, they destroyed the Protestants, they destroyed the Muslims, everybody they could. Okay, now Scandinavia is the purest Protestant fruit, for the reasons I just told. What are the results? Well, best education in the world, best freedom of the press, best freedoms in general, best there's a whole list in my book which adds up to the 50 proofs of God, but sticking to the facts, you got the best ecology in those countries in the world. So I'm not talking about just an area, you know, such as Europe. No, I'm talking about the world. Now, almost 200 countries they practice ecology on a day-to-day basis. Which of these 200 countries have the best practice of ecology, which is a good thing, even according to atheists, right? Well, Scandinavia. They all ride bikes, they pay attention to their environment, and so on and so forth. And it's the same thing with their inequality of revenues, which is the smallest on the planet, according to the Gini index. The education is the best, according to, don't know what's the term in English, but the ranking of the best educated nations. The freedom of the press, according to Reporters Sans Frontières, which is a French organization, atheist organization. So even them say that the best countries on earth, as far as freedom of the press is concerned, are the Scandinavian. Okay? So on and so forth. The best GDP per habitant. And then again, you're going to tell me, well, Norway, they have oil. Well, so do Venezuela. So do Saudi Arabia. Okay? But they don't top the first GDP per inhabitant on earth. Norway does, or is the second one. So you have those 5 countries of Scandinavia topping either the first 5 or among the first 10 in each of those rankings that I mentioned, and many others. Like, who were the first one to give rights, vote rights to women? Who were the first one to abolish slavery? Who were, etc., etc. And on and on and on. You find Scandinavia, Scandinavia, Scandinavia. Okay? So how are the atheists, or the Muslims, or the Catholics gonna try to explain this? If they believe, the Catholics, for example, if they believe that, or even the atheists, that you judge something with their fruit, well, the fruits are easy to find and easy to judge. They're the best. And there's no chance of comparing between those Scandinavian fruits and the others. And remember, Scandinavia is among the most harshest countries to live in the whole world, because of cold and because of night. You know, scientific studies have shown that the more night there is, the more depressed you are. How come then that those people are among the first to declare to be happy? How come? Same thing with Israel. I could go on with the list of how many doctors you have per inhabitant. Israel is the first one. What's the highest IQ in the world per people? It's the Ashkenazi. How many museums you have per inhabitant in Israel? You have the first one in the world. So on and so forth. So that's why I would like my book to be translated in the English world, because English-speaking world, because in France, because I'm French, we don't have so much of a debate between atheists and Protestants or Catholics or Muslims, or to know what is the truth and how can we know if there's a God or not. Those debates take place only in the Anglo-Saxon world. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So that's why I'm asking to you, if you're watching this video, thank you for watching. If you're an atheist or a Muslim or a Catholic or anybody but Protestant, show me I'm wrong. Show me that the facts I've given, you can explain them in your worldview without appealing to God if you're an atheist, or appealing to your God if you're a Muslim or a Catholic, I don't care, but basing yourself on the facts. Okay? Show me I'm wrong. I've demonstrated, I've made the hypothesis, okay? And mine is right according to the facts, and yours is wrong if you're not a Protestant. Now, if you're not a Protestant, wouldn't you like to have the facts on your side? In that case, it's easy. Open your Bible, check it out, find if it's true, okay? This way you will know why those countries, those people, provide the best fruit of whole humanity and the whole history that we know of, okay? It's not something not important, right? It's very important to know if God exists or not, and which one is it. And that's why I wrote this book, and that's why I ask you to help me translate it into English and spread it wherever it can be spread, because I've never heard before this kind of thesis, and I've never heard so far somebody who could say no, it's wrong on a factual basis. Never. So thank you for this, for listening to me, and hopefully you will write me. Here is an email address you can write me if you want to help. Take care, and God bless.